hours after being born. And they say the only reason they
Cause your love still want it, and life don't seem familiar when I'm lonely without you. I keep bringing us back to life, reminiscing.
And then she says, allegedly, that the baby was alive, and then the baby stopped moving, and then that's when she wrapped.
Wait a minute. The baby was alive. Then you wrap the baby? You didn't try to do oh my god. Wait,
Allegedly wraps the baby.
And she did tell us that she was hoping that the baby would hurry up and die.
Deputies only had.
You're hoping? You're wishing? You're praying on the baby downfall?
To remove, I'd say maybe 4 to 5 inches of dirt to discover the baby.
I wish I was making this up, but it's all true. And it happened just a few days ago.
Investigation began early Friday morning at this home on Florida Park Drive in Palm Coast. Deputies say they received a 911 call from someone who said Deb McGillow sent them a message on social media saying she had secretly been pregnant and unexpectedly gave birth at home.
Florida investigators say that a newborn was buried in a backyard hours after being born. And they say the only reason they found out was a text message from the so-called mom to a friend. Deputies didn't know exactly what they were walking into.
Oh my God.
They just knew,
Oh
quote,
my God.
disturbing messages about a secret pregnancy. Within hours, they had uncovered one of the
Secret pregnancy? So you kept this for how long?
most disturbing cases local law enforcement says that they've handled in years. And the timeline only
Years?
gets darker. The case began with a message that alarmed someone enough to call for help. According to investigators, someone called 911 after receiving text messages from 20-year-old Anne May DiMeglio. They suggested something had happened after she secretly gave birth at home.
The caller informed operators that
So you gave birth at home, but you didn't try like call 911 or ask your man to come and help you?
20-year-old Ann May DiMaggillo had sent messages to the.
She was on 20? Shit. And you saying no, they didn't say creepy messages. They just say she was sending sketchy secret messages.
Caller stating that she had secretly been pregnant and unexpectedly give birth at home.
She reportedly said that the baby had been born alive.
The messages indicated that DiMaggillo's baby was born alive and crying, or that DiMaggillo had done something to the infant.
This sounded as urgent as a 911 call can be, so deputies were sent to a
What
home in
I
Palm Coast.
see, y'all, is this case right here is probably worse than taking out Plan B. Not Plan B is killing the baby before the baby coming. But this is worse than Plan B.
Florida, for a welfare check. When they arrived, they found
Florida?
Anne May there. At first, she was hesitant to speak,
What
but
year?
eventually
I wanna
she
know what the
confirmed that
year
she had
that
been
actually
pregnant
happened.
and that she had given birth in the bathroom. What happened next will make your stomach turn. Because according to authorities, DiMaggio didn't just acknowledge the birth. She led investigators to the backyard with a straight face.
And then she advised them that she had been pregnant
Whoa. So you know about
and
the...
delivered the baby
Oh,
into a shallow
whoa.
grave in the backyard.
They didn't have to dig very far, 4 to 5 inches below the ground.
She let them in. Whoa! They definitely getting some spice in that. We dropped in the hot sauce. We dropped in the last dab actually. The gold pepper. We dropped in every spice.
Was the body of a newborn girl wrapped in a towel inside a duffel bag. Somehow it gets even more shocking from here on out.
Tragic story unfolding in Flagler County. A mother giving birth, then accused of leaving that newborn in a toilet. The sheriff's office says she then left the baby to die while she went on with her day.
Before this case made thousands.
What type of parent are you? Oh my god. If you didn't want the kid, you shouldn't have to do.
Cry. Anne May DiMaggio looked like your average college student. She lived in Palm Coast, not far from Orlando. She was enrolled at Daytona State College. And when she wasn't studying toward her forensic degree, she performed in local theater performances.
The first one at that theater was Little Shop of Horrors.
The irony of that detail.
Now, at that point, you wouldn't even think a girl who like anime, who go to Daytona College, would ever do anything like this.
Her forensic science major hasn't been lost on investigators or the public, but her loved ones have a lot to process now because none of this made sense. Friends and classmates described a young woman who seemed busy, involved, and focused on school and theater. None of her friends' statements echoed what you'd expect from someone who did what she just did. And most shockingly, none of the statements said anything about a pregnancy.
Never said
no
nothing
one
about
in
it?
her life seemed to know.
Deputies say that DeMaggillo claims that the
How none of y'all know that she was actually pregnant? And if they didn't know if she was pregnant, how would they felt?
father of her child didn't know she was pregnant.
And it gets even harder to believe.
Just for the girls, right? If y'all were pregnant, will y'all immediately tell y'all parents and men, or will y'all try to keep it a secret?
DeMaggillo claims that she had no idea that she was pregnant at all. She
That's a
allegedly
lie.
told deputies
That's
that
a
she
lie
felt like
right
she was
there.
having cramps.
That's
moving
a lie
from her
right
period.
So to say deputies
That's
weren't
straight on lie.
convinced is putting it
Straight on
lightly.
lie.
Yes, some women don't grow a lot even in 8 to 9 months. And there are still known cases of young moms hiding.
Like, do a lot of girl belly don't grow into like the pregnancy type belly in 18 or 8 months? If that's true, drop in the comment and tell me if that actually real or not.
pregnancies from their parents, like Brooke Skylar Richardson, but the odds are thin of no one noticing it. And
Right,
detectives
thin line?
knew this. Either way, the timeline they've laid out says the secret pregnancy came to a sudden and dramatic end during the early morning hours of March 5th. Around 3
we on March
a.m., Ann
5th.
May said she
3
went into
a.m.
the bathroom of her family's home. And what happened next, according to investigators, would become the center of the entire case. Because that's where she says she unexpectedly gave birth to a baby that would have been alive today, were it not for what she did next. Ann May had been feeling severe pain below her stomach for hours. Then she went to the bathroom and sat down on the toilet.
Early hours of the morning on March 5th, around 3 o'clock, she gave birth to a baby girl on the toilet inside her home in Palm Coast, Florida.
And according to her,
Now, I want to say, if y'all ever had an unexpected birth, I'm just saying, unexpected birth at home, where in y'all house would be the weirdest place that y'all accidentally give birth?
her own
In your house.
statements to detectives, she was alive. That moment is one of the most critical details in the entire case.
Yes, it's absolutely heartbreaking, Bailey. The more information they release, the more horrifying this story becomes. Investigators say this woman did not only refuse to help her child, but she wanted it to die.
Because what she says happened next is what ultimately led to the worst criminal charge a mom could get.
It is worse. It's worse than her taking the plan B.
She sees it in the toilet, leaves it there, watches it, hears it cry, and waits until it stops crying to move it.
And it's worse still, because Ann May didn't call for help even then. And she wasn't horrified enough to run out of the bathroom either.
She stayed in the bathroom, cleaning up the blood, using paper towels.
Oh, so she's going and cleaning up all the evidence and proof,
from the birth
and
of the
try
baby
to kill the baby
until
at the same
baby.
time, so
She
nobody
was
can
cleaning
know
the bathroom while
that
her
she
newborn was
actually
still
had a kid.
crying.
And she did tell us that she was hoping
When I watch
that
the
the
show,
baby
I
would
feel
hurry
so
up
bad for the
and
kid
And
more
even
than
this
the
is
actual
not the end of the
parents.
story. Next, investigators started piecing together what she did that day, because there was a full day between 3 a.m. and the evening when the
3
body
a.m.
was discovered.
in the evening. So what time in the
According to
evening?
the affidavit,
Me.
Ann May watched her baby's last moments.
Gave birth to a baby, heard the baby cry, watched the baby cry in the toilet, put her baby in a duffel bag, stuffed it in.
You sat there and watched your baby whine and cry and slowly die in a toilet.
In the closet.
Yeah, she hid the bag in a closet inside her bedroom. Then she paced between her bedroom and the bathroom.
You really think
until
nobody
sunrise.
going to actually
Then
find out what
DeMaggillo
you did?
allegedly goes about her regular day. She had to go back to school, and then that night she performs in the musical.
Yes, you heard right. College and then her local theater.
Flagler County deputies say that Demigillo went on to perform at a theater that night in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, where she's been playing the character Virtue in the musical Anything Goes.
Hundreds of people watched and clapped for her.
Have y'all seen that musical? Did y'all ever thought any of this would actually real? Did y'all ever thought she would have been the typical 20-year-old college student to do something like this?
Meanwhile, the baby stayed hidden at home, her parents not suspecting a thing. And it wasn't until that night that her next step happened. Because according to deputies, Ann May came home around 10 p.m. And that's when she started panicking, which led to what investigators say is one of the most devastating moments of the case.
What?
It baffles me, to be completely honest. Sometimes you can't explain everything.
This was the normal reaction to what Ann May did.
They say she went to her college class, performed at a theater, and then returned home to bury her daughter in a shallow grave.
Tragic for the child, for everyone, and it baffles me. I could never imagine.
So you dig a grave for your dead daughter? You say goodbye to her? But why? You didn't even need to put a gravesite for her. Now your daughter is gone. And your daughter just got out into the world. And now she... Alright. I feel so bad for your kid.
Being able
My
to
heart
They
already
were brought
broken
to
right now.
tears that Ann May did not show once.
Deputies sharing details of their disturbing discovery underneath this tent in a Palm Coast backyard Friday. They say 20-year-old Ann May DiMighello was alone in the house.
On the evening of March 5th, investigators say she went into the backyard and started digging. Yep, while her parents were at home. Investigators say she later gave deputies the shovel she used to dig the grave, the same way she confessed.
Normally, people who done something like this don't lead the investigation into the crime they actually did. So for her to actually show the investigator what she actually done to her kid is so messed up.
To everything without an ounce of emotion on her face.
Oddly calm. But I can't... Everyone expresses grief and everything in their own way.
Yeah,
so
everybody
I
expresses
can't say
grief in a different
the
way.
reasoning, but
I
watched some of the interview,
grief,
and
mid grief,
I didn't see any
and
remorse.
And to make matters more
weirdest
sickening, the
grief
burial
and
might
the
have
mole.
never even been discovered at all were it not for the text that she sent to her unnamed friend.
Investigators say they got a call for a welfare check at 4 a.m. Friday morning after DiMighello allegedly disclosed what had happened to someone. DiMighello, they say, eventually told deputies she delivered her child, who was alive at the time, in the...
And there's one last detail, you guys, that makes it even more heartbreaking. Florida's safe haven law.
Under Florida's safe haven law, anyone who can't care for a newborn can surrender the baby at a fire or police station or a hospital.
So her girl could have easily been saved, but she chose to go the worst way about it. The medical examiner later determined the preliminary cause of death was drowning.
And so the ME has confirmed that the cause of death, preliminarily, still we don't have the final report from the ME, was that the baby died from drowning.
That was enough to hit Ann May with this charge.
Ann May DiMighello will be charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child.
She was then...
She only 20! College student! And you did all this because you expected that the baby was gonna ruin your whole life.
Reported to the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility in Bunnell. If she's convicted, she could face 30 years in prison.
Now, the judge today did hear even more for confession from a detective.
And she's gonna be like 50,
even though
no,
what she might
not
have done
50,
here
40.
was violent,
I don't know how
she's
old
not
she
a
would be.
danger to the community.
But wait, why only manslaughter, you ask?
She is not facing a murder charge in this case. I mean, manslaughter is still incredibly serious, but it's not murder. Authorities say because she allegedly gave birth to the child, then she left, and she did not specifically inflict harm on the baby.
However, the case is on...
So that's why it didn't call like she did murder. Cause she gave birth to the kid and left. So is that murder or manslaughter? I don't know.
Going, meaning the charges can change, and prosecution can bring new damning evidence. And who even knows what Ann May still hasn't confessed to?
Ann May DeMiguelo's mother was seen wiping tears from her eyes as she sat
now
in
her
grandkid
is gone.
According to the family's attorney, Michael
if
Brightus, the
daughter
family
had
has not
a baby
spoken to
and
DeMiguelo
did the
since her
same
arrest
thing
on
she
Friday.
did,
This former homicide detective
now I lost
explains
my
that the
grandkid
defense
and my
may try
kid
to
at the
paint her
same
as
time.
a young, confused person who didn't know what to do in a moment of crisis. That perhaps her lack of medical knowledge about pregnancies may have pushed her to make an awful mistake. But what mattered?
It probably because she was young and she didn't know nothing about raising a kid, having a baby. She should have never did what she did.
Chose to do once she gave birth.
Her choice was to let the baby die and put it in a duffel bag and walk away. No one called.
That was her choice.
Nobody 911.
She didn't call 911.
And that
she
we have to
called
look at. And that's why
her
they put
parents
the intent.
and
She's
her
young.
she didn't tell nobody
She's young. She wasn't
that she
aware
was
of it.
pregnant.
Prosecutors will be going after that. That's for sure.
That's the only
Do you have anything to
reason why
say
the
about letting your baby
go after
Are you afraid to go home now?
But no matter the trial's outcome, he sums up the tragedy.
That we see these things time and time again, where there's so many opportunities to do what's right, and the selfishness and the lack of
so much opportunity to do things right. So much thing to do, and you really don't want to have a kid. Don't
compassion or regard for human life. We see it time and time again, especially the age 20 years old.
It's devastating, and even
Damn.
this word is not enough to
And
make
she
up
trying
for
to
the
cover her
loss
face
of a
because she don't want
day-old
people
soul.
to know
A
what she
newborn
did.
who never
Yo, if that video was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. I put my funniest reaction right here in this playlist, and YouTube thinks you will love this special video next. Click one of those, hit the sub button if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.